What's going on, everybody? I hope you're all well, and welcome back to Dragon Age Origins. We just did a huge Codex reading episode. It took me around an hour to record, and now we are finally ready to head into the Brecilian Forest to get our first taste here of the werewolf curse. We got a couple things to look out for. We gotta look for one of our elven friend, I believe his name was Athras. His lover is in here. He suspects she turned into a werewolf. We gotta look out for, of course, the werewolves. We're searching for Witherfang, see if we can put a stop to that. There's also lots of cool little puzzles and things to find inside the Brecilian Forest. Lots of cool ancient lore type things. So we're going to be going deep into the forest. That first taste of wolves. Of course, they brought a werewolf with them. So we are going to pop Taunt. I'm not sure what Morrigan is using Mana Clash for because there isn't a mage here. He used it on the wolf, which is obnoxious, to say the least. Okay, all of you stop it. Rust already taunted, so it's not really like I can do anything more that I'm not already asking him for. What broke my line? It's just a wolf. You guys can handle a wolf, right? Wonderful. Alright, Win, just do your thing. Cast the spells, all that good stuff. Not much of a fight left with us at this point. It's gonna be the end of the wolves. Yeah, there's lots of puzzles with hidden armor sets. There's cool little grave sites. We gotta find the Maleficarum that are in here at some point. We did get a quest a long time ago for the Chanter's board, I believe, that said there was some kind of magic ritual going on in here, so we gotta keep an eye out for those. We're gonna talk to Treebeard from Lord of the Rings. There's gonna be some cool stuff going on inside these woods. We also gotta keep an eye out for Ironbark. The Master Mage Smith said that he could make us some elven armor if we found him the right amount of Ironbark, so keep an eye out for collapsed trees. It's the only way he said you could harvest it was from bark that's already collapsed from a tree naturally. I'm gonna be running all over this place trying to find out where we're going. Lots of things to loot.
As you wish.
Lots of elf root, which means more health potions for us when we finally get back, so you'll never catch me complaining about that. See, we have another Andraste's Grace here. If you hadn't already found it for Liliana, or you hadn't gotten the dialogue yet, you could catch it from here.
It's either you or me, and it's gonna be me.
That's the end, the Great Bear. Alright, so we've already established she's not gonna work how she's meant to with the tactics for Mana Clash, so that's going to be the end of that. What do we have here? We have Winter's Grasp, Blind, Mind Blast, Drain Life, Vulnerability, Hex. What are we replacing you with? We're just going to drop Mana Clash. It's not worth it. It's never going to do what we want it to do. I guess we'll put Horror. The caster forces a target to cower in fear, unable to move. Right, let's just give it enemy rank normal or higher, and she can just use horror on that. Or what does disorient do? Caster engages in subtle mental manipulation that disorients the target for a short time, making the target less effective combat by inflicting penalties to attack and defense. We'll keep horror on. We'll try horror. If we don't find that's doing anything for us, we'll switch to disorient. Grab this flower for Liliana real fast. Give that to her when we're back at camp. He's a named wolf.
The Watchwolves have spoken truly, my brothers and sisters. The Dalish and the human of all things, to repay us for our attack, to put us in our place. What bitter irony.
I wasn't expecting to conversate. You speak. I thought werewolves were savage beasts.
We are beasts, but we are no longer simple and mindless. Let that thought chill your spine. You speak to Swift Runner. I lead my cursed brothers and sisters. Turn back now. Go back to the Dalish and tell them that you have failed. Tell them we will gladly watch them suffer the same curse we have suffered for too long. We will watch them pay.
I would prefer to talk to you. I mean you no harm.
Was it not Sathrian who sent you? He wishes only our destruction, never to talk.
You talk of Zathrian as if you know him.
We have never met, he and I. He would not survive the experience. I swear it.
Why exactly? Why do you hate him so much?
You know nothing, do you? Nothing of us, and even less of those you serve. You are a fool, and we are done talking.
I don't serve anybody.
Run from the forest while you can. Run to the Dalish and tell them they are doomed.
I said I would look into something, and clearly this is not the way that I am, the way that I was told. This is clearly a different scenario. I was not expecting intelligent beings. I don't want to fight, but neither can I retreat.
I do not wish to fight you either, but we cannot trust you. Come, brothers and sisters, let us retreat. The forest has eyes of its own, and it will deal with intruders as it always has.
We're here for aid for the Blight. We can't exactly walk away from this without getting what we need. At the same time, he doesn't seem like the villain that Zathrian painted him out to be. We're gonna have to tread very carefully in this forest because I'm not... Despite what he said, I'm not a puppet, and if there's something fishy going on here, I'm not gonna be Zathrian's executioner. Whatever reason he has for hating Zathrian, I intend to find out, and then I'm gonna make my own judgment on what the correct course of action is. I'm nobody's messenger boy or executioner. If he's gonna want me to end the lives of all these sentient beings in the forest, then he's gonna need a hell of a reason. Like, this is what I expected. These wolves are rabid. They're just... There's nothing to be done for these. They clearly don't know what they're doing. Sentient ones didn't want to fight us. I suspect the rabid wolves might be new to the curse. Can't really control themselves yet. Which you would think the other werewolves would maybe take care of. You know, put them in a cage until they come to their senses a little.
As you wish.
Certainly doesn't help whatever cause he's talking about. Swiftrunner speaks as if they've been wronged, but letting all these rabid wolves prance around the forest, indiscriminately slaughtering everything with a pulse doesn't exactly serve his cause very well. With that Templar in here of all places. Surprising. Dagon.
Who comes?
You're badly wounded. What happened to you?
We were sent to find Witherfang. Bring his heart. Attacked.
Let me see. We can just rob him. We can kill him. Take the hunter back to the Dalish camp. We can't help him, but his people might be able to.
And Darren Atishan, Grey Warden. Our scouts saw you approaching and tell me you carry the body of one of our hunters with you. Ah, Dagon. He is wounded, but I think he will live. Ma Siranas, your help is appreciated. Come, Lethaline, let us take Dagon to the Keeper, and quickly. If we are lucky, we may still save him.
Of course. One more for the cause. I couldn't just leave him there to die. Again, I know I've talked about it a lot, but Wardens can, after all, inspire, and if we can change some of the Dalish elves' minds on some of this, then that would be very nice. Maybe they'll stop throwing arrows at everybody that passes their borders if we save a couple of their people while we're in here. At the very least, we need them to like us more, so they'll help us with the Blight, so I don't mind saving who I can, where I can. Again, you see the grey morality that this game offers to you. There's another dead Templar by where we killed the bear. We could have totally just fleeced his pockets and left him there to die, or we could have killed him ourselves and then just rummaged through his pockets. This game will present you with a lot of choices to dictate your own morality and your own warden, however you see fit. Some different way around the back there. The mystical sigh of power we can see. There's fallen tree for the iron bark we need to collect. You have Darkspawn in here, which I wasn't expecting. Let's make sure that our friendly neighborhood ogre is focused on Alistair, not me. Wonderful, you got the finisher again. It just never gets old. Beautiful. Yeah, mages are just chopping everything down with their lightning and frost spells. It's a great decision putting those debuffs all on whatever cooldown they pleased. They just spam that themselves. I don't even have to micro out mages anymore. They're just gonna handle everything. I didn't see this sneaky little Darkspawn back here. He could have totally gotten away. Oxbone, some random loot. Looks like what used to be an elf. Do the Sigh of Power first. Now, I'm not sure if we can do the Gravestone ritual yet, but there's only one way to find out. You see a tombstone before you, it gives you an uneasy feeling. Okay, we can't. Eventually, we're going to be doing all those gravestones one by one, and it's going to get us a very unique armor set called Juggernaut. But, alas, we can't do it yet. Here's a real interesting encounter, which is relevant to what I said earlier, to keep in mind the codex about the shade that tricked the traveler and sapping his life essence. Gonna run into our own little experience there with that. I don't want to linger too long in this forest.
As you wish.
I'm gonna take the iron bark. Now you get a taste of the ancient Sylvans that are in this forest. They are going to be ambushing us here and there. You do have to be careful with them because they can do this little toxic ability you see there. Of course, they're very weak to fire damage, so chop them down with whatever ability you see fit. Quite literally chop that wood now. Been saying that for a lot of the playthrough, and now you actually get to chop wood. Probably split the Brecilian Forest into 2 episodes, maybe 3, we'll see. See how long it takes me to get through, like, certain chunks. Oh, werewolves up here. Alistair, if you'd be so kind. I'm gonna wrap behind. That's one. Done this werewolf, get him out. Try not to get too complacent because every now and then I'll let my guard down, I'll stop paying attention, and then I'll look back at my screen and my character will be dead, so try not to let that go too much. Item received. And now we get to talk to Treebeard. It's a very cool NPC. Gonna kill some of his cousins on the way down the hill. Hope he doesn't mind too much. We do have cause. You can very clearly tell which ones you're gonna have to fight too. This guy right here doesn't look like the rest. He's clearly gonna have something to say to us. He actually got my entire party with that. Just die, Sylvan. See, there's two of these guys here now. We only want to aggro the one. Alistair said, never mind, I'll take both. Alistair, I need you to hit a taunt.
Right.
Oh, we actually aggroed all three of them we managed to do. Okay, let's, you remember when I was talking about getting complacent a second ago? Well, welcome to complacency. This is how it looks. Alright, chop that wood. The main one dead. That's those Sylvans down. Thank God there's no werewolves at the same time as those Sylvans attack us, because those trees have a very strong stun. It's very hard to handle. Can't pull the guy to pee in the forest yet. We'll come back with him, make sure he pees. It's essential. You get us dominance. Is there any sneaky loot up here? There is not. Okay. To the Grand Oak. I love the way this guy talks, and I love the way he is written. So I probably won't say much here. I'm just gonna enjoy listening to my friend.
What manner of beast be thee that comes before this elder tree?
Clearly supposed to be a reference to Lord of the Rings with Treebeard. They even talk similar. You're not going to attack me, are you?
Ah, thou speakest of the others, how filled they are with hate. I apologize on their behalf. They cannot control their fate. Allow me a moment to welcome thee. I am called the Grand Oak, sometimes the Elder Tree.
It rhymes? 'Tis a rhyming tree. One can only imagine what manner of spirit is involved here.
The world is certainly full of marvelous, unexpected creations. Each day we see something that we never thought possible.
And unless thou thinkst it far too soon, might I ask of thee a boon?
I love this guy so much. What are you exactly?
I am an elder oak and nothing more. Though once I dreamt of a time before when I roamed the world and howled with pain, not of this world, but twixt and twain. Perhaps I was a spirit then, a wandering thing drawn to this glen. But then that spirit joined with a tree. Since then, a tree is all I be.
I love it so much. You're much more than just a tree.
There are many just as I, but mad they are, I shall not lie. A spirit trapped within a tree, no mouth to scream or eyes to see. A cage of bark, a prison wood, a thing of rage where nature stood. So twisted sylvan they become. But I am not the same as some. I accept my fated oaken home. I feel no need to rage and roam.
So, like we read in the Codex and got from a couple of the NPCs, this forest has seen a lot of battles and a lot of bloodshed. The veil is very thin in here. So I imagine just a whole bunch of spirits that somehow got wrapped up in these trees. This one happens to be a poet. Why do you speak in rhymes?
I do not know. Why dost thou not? Thy words seem plain, a mundane lot. Perhaps a poet's soul's in me. Does that make me a poetry?
He has dad jokes too. Very good. A poetry, yes, I get it.
It was but a simple jest, a jibe to entertain my guest.
Very good. It worked. You are very entertaining, Grand Oak Tree. I would like to know more of this forest.
I can only speak to what a tree may see. It may not help you, but it is enough for me.
Why is it called the Brecilian Forest exactly?
That is but a human name, one placed upon this land, their claim. A claim they stole from ancient elves, whom they first killed, and were killed themselves.
There were elves who lived here?
It was the elves who planted the seeds, raised the forest, saw to its needs. But that was all so long ago. That they are dead is all I know.
The level of rhyme and intricacy in his words, that he can answer every question the player might have with a rhyme, is very cool. This is definitely one of my favorite NPCs in this whole game. What happened here to make the forest like this?
A great war, perhaps. I cannot tell. I was not here when it befell. But many deaths here, all the same. And with the deaths, the spirits came. The spirits entered corpse and tree, and most went mad, as thou canst see. The forest had a spirit of its own, from back when its first seeds were sown. Perhaps she died of grief that day, or perhaps she simply went away. Or perhaps the wares are the ones to blame, for the day she left is the day they came.
Is there anything around here of note?
Most of what was is overgrown, leaving only broken stone. Perhaps some ruins remain free of rot. I know not where, I see them not.
Where can I find Witherfang's lair?
In the center of the forest the wares do dwell, or so go the tales my fellows tell. But they cannot be followed there. The forest doth protect the wares.
Why do the trees protect them?
Perhaps wares use magic to command the trees. All I know is they move as they please.
Is there any other way to get to the center of the forest?
Perform the boon as I ask, and I shall reward thee for the task. I have but one desire, to solve a matter very dire. As I slept one early morn, a thief did come and steal an acorn.
And you want it back, I take it?
All I have is my being, my seed. Without it, I am alone indeed. I cannot go and seek it out, yet I shall die if left without.
I could look for your acorn. What's in it for me?
My wooden skin has some magic, see? And part of it I can give to thee.
What good will your wood do me?
The forest would see thee as a tree, and so no harm would come to thee.
That sounds like a fine reward.
Wilt thou then perform the task? Wilt thou save me, as I ask?
Absolutely, my Ryman tree friend. We will help you.
Go to the east to find this man. I shall await. Do what thou can.
Honestly, this this tree could have asked a lot more of a difficult task from me, and I would have also said yes. I love this thing. Right, this campsite appears remarkably intact. The tents and bedrolls are covered with leaves, but are dry and whole. Now, if you remember earlier, we read a codex about a campsite that a man who had lost his wife and his child was resting in. He had been tricked there, but it didn't seem quite right, and he felt like he was in a nightmare. Eventually, he awoke, and he could just tell something was off. The familiar stench of death and ash began to seek in, and slowly he returned to reality, and he saw an ash wraith above him, draining him of life. He wanted to die, however, haunted by the pain of his lost family, and so he embraced the wraith and let it take him. But that codex was a giant warning to the adventurous, letting you know that you will find some tricky spirits that will oftentimes present you with fake campsites and drain you while you rest. This is the reason I said pay attention to that codex. The fire pit smokes and possesses embers enough to build into a small flame. There are no signs of any inhabitants.
How odd. A camp with no campers, complete with fire and warm blankets. Rather inviting, would you not say?
More suspicious than inviting. You get no hint of danger, though it strikes you as odd that the camp is abandoned. Perhaps searching the camp will give more clues to its nature. Now there is a lot of strangeness going on here.
This should be easy enough.
You look inside the tent and are surprised how dry and cozy it feels. It is clean, but empty. What a pleasant place to rest your head.
The elven hunters didn't set this up. How strange. And yet it all just seems so friendly. I want to do nothing but remain.
No, we can't sleep here. We need to go. It takes all your strength to step back from the tent. A wave of weariness washes through you, despite your efforts to resist it. Now you see it's going to progress and get harder and harder as we go through this little encounter. We have a bedroll to check on. You examine the bedroll. It looks clean and warm. You feel like you haven't slept in ages. It would be so nice to curl up and sleep.
I feel magic here, draining my strength. We must leave, and soon.
Sleeping here would be bad, I think. We should leave. You turn away from the bedroll, but only reluctantly. The lure of sleep is almost overpowering. You examine the remains of the fire pit. It has been untended for several hours at most. The embers draw you in, almost hypnotizing you.
Do not look in the fire. It draws my strength. Perhaps we should sit down. Rest.
Stop. We need to get away from this, now. The flames emit a sudden warmth, draining your strength even more. You turn away, the chill seeping back into your bones. You are exhausted. And if we try and head out of this campsite, as you turn to leave, you find your steps growing leaden. Fatigue tugs at your limbs and you yawn. It has been a long journey. Perhaps it is safe to rest here?
Perhaps we're being too hasty in leaving. I'm too old for all this running around. The camp looks like a good spot to rest, so long as we're watchful.
Let's not fight it. Let's turn around and see what happens. Unable to resist its strange siren call, you trudge back to the tents and quickly collapse and drift off into a blissful sleep. And as you see, we're all dead. We all got drained by the Greater Shade. Luckily for us, Wynn is unkillable, savage that she is. And now, unluckily for this Shade, she also has a guardian spirit, which just brought us all back to life. So now this sneaky little Shade is not going to be with us for much longer.
Let's have at it! Is it just me, or do you actually think you have a chance? This should be easy enough.
And there goes the Shade of the Forest. With the shade destroyed, the fog seems to lift. The camp that was here is ancient, and the remnants of the shade's victims all lie as if sleeping still.
A hungry spirit luring those who pass to their rest and their doom. One might wonder how it learned this trick. No matter, it shall prey on no one else.
That's the end of that cheeky little demon. We did sacrifice some injury kits for that, but I think ultimately it was worth it. You gotta make sure all of our the stains are still up. Indeed they are. Indeed. Morrigan. What would I like to give? You can go ahead and equip flaming weapons. It'll buff my offhand. My main hand is the only one that has the runes enchanted inside it.
Right.
Got some Dalish gloves, which is a gift for Zevran. But yeah, I think it's cool that they actually put the encounter you can read about way early in the game. Like, they give us the gameplay hint of this. And where do we get that from? Like Redcliffe, I think. You get it very early. Like it was in the first 15 episodes, I feel like, where I told you guys about this encounter. Where I said to pay attention to what the game tells you, and things like that is why. Now, there's some loot up here in the edge of the forest. Not sure how we get there. We're gonna have to take a look around. There is some way to get there. That only went to the campsite, it seems. I'm not being silly, am I? It has been known to happen. Right. Well, that being said, I suppose we'll just take one of the fog doors and see where it leads us. The only place I can think that we haven't gone so far is where the ironbark tree was. We'll head back up here. Without the acorn, you can't pass the fog doors. Let's see what happens if we try and take this path to Southeast Forest. And we're in the East Brecilian Forest, where we have some hollow. Surprisingly enough, that the Dalish left them here. Here's another Sylvan we got to fight.
Let's make this quick, shall we?
And the fire damage is going to take very quick work of the Sylvan. Some of the fog that we're unable to pass through until we get the acorns. Actually, the way to the lair, right up there. Head towards the enemies. It's usually a good bet. Head towards the red on the map. Rabid werewolves. Alistair, if you'd be so kind. Swing around to this werewolf spine. Actually managed to paralyze him with the rune of paralysis, which is huge. Love to see the enchantments working as they should. We're getting plenty of XP for these kills. Probably gonna be a couple levels in the forest for us. We do it all. Take our time. Here's Danyla. Now, if you remember, Danyla is the name of the hunter's wife he sent us in here to check for. It seems that she did in fact turn.
Please. Help. Listen. I am not the mindless beast I appear to be.
What happened to you?
I am cursed. Turned into this creature. The curse, it burns in me. I fled into the forest. The werewolves, they took me in, but I had to return. I had to.
Careful. These werewolves might have laid a trap for us or something. You never know.
You are human. I am. I was once an elf, one of the Dalish folk. You know of my clan.
Your keeper Zathrian is the one who sent me here.
The Keeper sent you? Then you seek Witherfang.
I do. Have you seen him?
I have, but it is not what you think. But there is no time to explain. You must listen. My name is Danyla. My husband, he is called Athras. Please, you must bring him a message. The staff I wear. Bring it to him. Tell him I love him. Tell him I am dead and with the gods. I beg you.
I spoke to Athras. He worries about you.
I want him to be at peace. He is a good man. Please do not let him suffer thinking of me. Oh, the pain. The curse is fire in my blood. Please, hand it for me. Hand it quickly.
I need answers first, please. You must help me.
I will tell you what I know if you promise to end my pain.
Very well. I promise.
Then know this. The werewolves are no longer violent animals. They have overcome the curse like I have. There is a ruin in the center of the forest. You may find them there. They will think you mean to kill them. I can tell you no more. The pain, it is too much. Please fulfill your promise.
No, of course, I am a man of my word, and she's clearly in a lot of pain, and no longer what she was before she came into this forest, and I'm not gonna force her to exist like this. It's a tough choice, but it's not my call. It's her call. If she wants peace, then who am I to keep it from her? She can't do it herself, so we did make a deal, and I will honor that.
Gods bless you.
That's rough. We'll take the pelt. We'll also go back and give Athras the unfortunate news, but at least he can get some peace knowing that she's gone. She's not out there anymore like he was afraid of. We also can't really make a decision around taking her back to camp. She could attack people, she could infect the rest of the clan. He might lose his mind a little and decide that he would rather live with her as a werewolf than not. She wouldn't want that for him, and ultimately I think the best course of action there is to just keep your word. I told her I would finish it for her when we were done, and we were done, so stick with that. Again, she was in a lot of pain, and I don't like the idea of forcing people to exist on your whim. It's not our call whether she lives as a werewolf for the rest of her life or not. It's not up to us, it's up to her. Give her the peace that she seeks and the peace she seeks for her husband. I believe that's the choice I would make at the time. It's not dissimilar from the whole question of, you know, when you ask your loved ones sometimes, if I was bitten by a zombie, would you kill me? Like, I would firmly expect anybody who loves me to blow my head off were I bitten by a zombie before I turned into one. I suspect most people might think the same. Her being a werewolf there is not too dissimilar from that question. I'm gonna try and kill the elite bear first. Yeah, we can just focus on the stragglers. We're hitting upwards of 40 a strike in the flank, which is insane. Definitely getting up there. Alistair just got to level up. What do we have for him? He has a specialization now. The Berserker spec is the one that we have unlocked, but I would like to give him champion. We just don't have it yet, but we will. We'll get there. We're going to save our specialization point. In the meantime, let's give him 1 dexterity, so he's now at 30-30. And then I suppose we'll give him some willpower, just to let his abilities pop off a little more. And then now we're going to give him Death Blow, which is each time the warrior fells an enemy, the end of the battle seems closer at hand, restoring a portion of the warrior's stamina. We are absolutely going to be taking that. And we are ready to press on. Now he's getting really close to
this place that makes my
Right.
skin crawl.
being able to have unlimited stamina during combat, which we need for him to constantly be able to pop taunts and all his shield abilities that we're going to be getting from now on, so... Right, my mages are being very cheeky for some reason. I'm not sure why Morrigan is so close to this. Let's take care of this. The first one dead. And that's the second one dead. Both ogres down. Interesting that there was 2 ogres in the forest here together when you rarely even see one during a blight. According to the codex on the ogres at least, they're very rare to find. Steel spiked collar for Duke. We have a clan shield. Pile of bones. Elf fruit. We have another gravestone here. The air seems unnaturally cold around this ancient tombstone. Runes of warding are carved into the surface. Disturb the wards. And Legend of the Juggernaut. Here we're gonna have lots of toxic little encounters to deal with, so we're gonna get Alistair to taunt. I'm gonna do my best to take care of the stragglers before we kind of get overwhelmed and leave our mages doing what our mages do. Hope that Alistair could just hold the aggro he needs to hold. Since this asshole can actually hit multiple people with one swing, we're gonna back her up a little. Doesn't need to be so close to the Revenant. Alistair is doing a great job of managing the aggro. Give him the Mark of Death, and we're just gonna chop that ward from behind. 32. 29, 35, he's paralyzed, and that's that. Now on every single time you kill one of these revenants, you are going to get a piece of the Juggernaut armor set. 38 strength you need for this. I'm going to be showing you how to get every single piece of that, because I love that armor set. The first time I ever played this game was actually a two-handed warrior. It's actually my favorite class to play. I just thought the rogue would be better to watch, but still. And every time I play a two-handed warrior in this game, I use the Juggernaut armor, so... Guess what armor set I'm going to be given to Stan? Right, now we got the first grey, we can travel throughout the forest and grab the other ones. Complete that ritual and get the Juggernaut armor. Be coming back to this campsite a little later. Here's a cheeky little tent. There's some strangeness going on around it. I have a hermit here.
Oh dear, oh dear.
It's clearly a mage.
And not a spirit even. What are the woods coming to?
Wait, are you the thief who took the Grand Oak's acorn?
Mayhap I did, and mayhap I didn't. Have you come to claim it back? Oh, what fun. But we are getting ahead of ourselves already. Ask a question and you'll get a question, but give an answer and you'll receive the same. Oh, I do so love to trade.
Ask a question and you'll receive a question, but give an answer and you'll receive the same. So we only ask him questions. You want me to answer a question?
Wouldn't I have to ask you a question first?
Isn't that a question?
Would you know a question if it was asked?
Is there something to stop me from killing you?
Do you see anything that might stop you?
Stop answering every question with a question.
But those are the rules. A question for a question, an answer for an answer. Were you not listening?
Be cautious. This is no ordinary madman. He has magic. I can sense it.
Evidently.
Powerful magic.
No fair bringing mages to a guessing game. Will you play by the rules or not?
Then, would you like to ask me a question?
I think it is your turn to ask, is it not?
Do you have the Grand Oak's acorn?
Suddenly it all becomes clear. You hear that talking tree there? It all makes sense now. As a matter of fact, yes. I do have that tree's acorn. I stole it, and it was easy. Silly tree should have locked it up tighter. If you want it, you'll have to trade me for it. And nothing from that silly tree. No leaves or branches or anything. But that's all I have to say about that. An answer for an answer. There you go.
Do you want to ask me another question?
May I? Oh yes, I think I might. Now, what shall be the first? Oh yes, what is your name?
You may call me Apparition.
Aha, so you claim. They sent you, didn't they? But you're too tricky, and you're trying to fool me. Well, I'm on to you, just so you know. But it is your turn to ask now. Ask. Ask away, I dare you.
Do you have anything to trade?
Let's see. I'll trade you an acorn, a helmet I found, or a book I finished reading years ago, provided you have something interesting in return.
I want to trade for the acorn.
Oh, and what do you have to trade for the acorn?
How about a book?
A book, eh? What sort of book?
How about this book on elven history?
Elven history, you say? That might make for good reading by the moonlight.
Quite an interesting read.
Or it'll be better than using leaves. Give me that. There. Now that's done. What else have you got on your agenda,
Do you want to ask me another question?
May I? Oh yes, I think I might. Where were you born?
I was born on my family estate in the north. We're gonna lie to him and see if he catches us.
So you say, fiendishly clever of you to maintain this facade for so long, but I will see through it yet. Mark my words. But it is your turn to ask now. Ask. Ask away, I dare you.
So you live in this stump?
Yes, I live here, and it's not as bad as you think. Where else to go, eh? I must stay away from them. They're out there and looking. They will take your secrets, oh yes, all of them, and leave you empty. But that's all I have to say about that. An answer for an answer. There you go.
Do you want to ask me another question?
May I? Oh yes, I think I might. Let's see. Do you have a knowledge of the arcane arts?
Can't you tell?
If I could tell, I wouldn't have to ask you now, would I? Do you have the knowledge or not?
No, of course not.
Oh, well, that's disappointing. But wait, what if you were lying? Ah, you thought to scamper away without suspicion, did you? Well, I'm on to you. But it is your turn to ask now. Ask. Ask away, I dare you.
Who are you?
Who am I? Why do you want to know? Did they send you? Did they tell you to ask?
Who's they?
Oh, did they tell you to pretend to be an innocent stranger with a head full of fluff and nothing? I'm trickier than I look. Ha! I survive still, and the trees, they leave me be. Ha! I've won. They will never find me. Never.
I found you.
So you did. But I'm watching you. If they sent you, I'll know. But that's all I have to say about that. An answer for an answer. There you go.
Right. It's time to kill you.
Not fair. Not fair. This is completely against the rules.
And we got the acorn that we needed. Now he's clearly insane and clearly very powerful, and he's just gonna sit here and wrought chaos in the woods, so I would like to check his tree stump also, but he's gonna take a big exception to that. It appears someone has dug a hole beneath the stump, leading to a tiny and filthy cave of sorts. Obviously, the hermit sleeps in there. There also appears to be a small cubbyhole within the body of the trunk itself. It is filled with mud, twigs, and other debris.
Hold on, you. That's private property. That's an old man's home, that is. Keep out. Keep out.
Well, I do know the way we aggro him here is to reach into the cubbyhole, so... You put your hand into the mud and feel around. You find something and grab onto it. You feel something else moving around in the mud, and it stabs your hand painfully as you yank your prize out.
You're a robber, is what you are. They sent you, didn't they? Well, I'll show you. They won't get away with this.
He summons demons immediately, so now you know he was a Maleficar. Which is the main reason we're baiting him here. I know what he is. You can kind of tell just by the fact that he's out in the woods as he is. Obviously much more than a hedge mage. Quite the fireball spell though. That's the Hermit. Now we'll just take care of the rage demons. Well, it seems that Alistair managed to get himself killed there.
Right.
Again, complacency.
Right.
I'm paying enough attention to him. But he actually has 2 sovereigns in Dream Servo, which is 10 spirit damage. Nothing too good, but I do believe we made the world a better place. We certainly made the forest a safer place, now that his ass is grass. He's lucky we can't get Dookie to pee on his tent. I totally would. There's nothing in the trunk that appears worthy of your time. Right. Well, we got what we came for. We have the acorn. That's the reason we're in this section of the forest to begin with. Now that we've taken care of that,
As you wish.
actually ready to go back to the Grand Oak Tree and wrap the episode after we get a branch from him so we can pass the fog wall. Do we have anything else in here? We do have to take this last pathway. This one is the one we haven't taken yet, I believe. Unless it's the fog wall. That is the fog wall. Okay, we're done here. We can take the path back. Let's turn that into the acorn and look for the rest of those gravestones. Actually, we'll do the gravestones next episode. This next episode is also when we'll be able to get the whole set, so it's probably better to do it all confined like that. Also, I need to swing on back to the Dalish Camp and give the man his wife's scarf. I'll potentially do that off camera, I'm not sure. On second thoughts, no, I won't. I won't do that off camera. Also, the reason you want to do Cameron and his girlfriend there in the camp is because he gives you the book that you can trade the Hermit for the acorn. Now, we killed him anyway, so we would have still gotten the acorn, but if you want to do that without killing him, you trade him the book you get from helping Cameron out with Gaina.
My acorn is still gone, so I pray to thee. Hast thou any news for me?
Is this the acorn you seek?
My joy soars to new heights indeed. I am reunited with my seed. As I promised, here it be. I hope its magic pleases thee. Keep this branch of mine with thee, and pass throughout the forest free. I wish thee well, my mortal friend. Thou brought my sadness to an end. May the sunlight find you, thy days be long, thy winters kind, and thy roots be strong.
Thank you very much, Grand Oak Tree. I hope you have a very nice day in the forest. I hope no woodcutters come on by trying to take your bark. This guy is so cool. You can kill him too. I mean, he is technically like a fade spirit possessed in a tree that shouldn't be there, but why on earth wouldn't you want him to be there? He's not hurting anybody. He seems friendly enough. He just rhymes. It's not like the other Sylvans where they're going ham attacking everybody for no reason. He's just chilling. We are gonna make a U-turn here in a second. Because I do want to get the Gravestone done, and then we'll make our way back to the Dalish Camp and wrap the episode. This annoying little werewolf. Stop that. Yeah, I would like to wrap this episode inside the Dalish Camp, so... we'll get the Gravestone behind us done.
This should be easy enough.
Go head on back to camp and give Athras his wife's scarf, and then we'll be ready to wrap, and then it'll be more of a complete thing, so... we'll finish the Brecilian Forest this episode, and then we'll take care of the temple in the next episode. That makes sense to my brain. This is the tombstone of a Tevinter general. The epitaph makes it clear that his spirit was left to guard over something. Disturb the tombstone. Now we know there's going to be a rev somewhere. There's the Revenant, so he's going to pop his taunt.
Right. Is that all you've got?
I'm going to take care of these archers back here. Being big nuisances. Alistair's doing a great job of holding the aggro. You know what my mages aren't doing a great job of? Is healing Alistair. I'm gonna slowly but surely chop this guy down, give him Mark of Death. And that's 2 Revenants down.
As you wish.
He gives us the Juggernaut Helm.
On it.
With the archers, a fanged
As you
skeleton.
wish.
What is a fanged skeleton? Was that the Despair Demon? I know there's different classifications you put those into depending on what the name is before skeleton. There's Hunger, Despair. Sloth was Shambling, I believe. Right, so we have Grand Oak Clearing, we have been there. We took care of this tombstone. Exit to the East Forest, and South exit to the East Forest, so we've taken care of all this. I don't think there's anything else left in this clearing forest to take care of. There was the corpses that I'm not sure how to make our way towards. More bears to fight. Quite a lot of bears, actually. Let's have Alistair pop this taunt. I'll level up in combat, of course.
Let's get started. Done with you now.
Alistair here is struggling to hold the aggro after I just complimented him for it so many times. Right there's an Elfru and a skeleton. And I want it because it's mine. It's right here down this little slip. That's what I wanted to get to earlier.
This should be easy
Have
enough.
a Silverite Dagger and an Elfru. Nothing to write home about, but like I said before, I'm a loot goblin. It's free and it exists, so I want it. It's mine. Why wouldn't I want something that belongs to me? My eye open for anything else I might have missed. Think we're good. Let's hit our level up real fast. So at this point, I'm gonna go dexterity and 2 cunning. That way they're all even. It's 20, 38, 22, 14, 34, and 12. It is all even numbers, which makes my brain very happy. Let's do now. We have Lacerate, which is whenever a backstab deals enough damage, the assassin's foe is riddled with bleeding wounds that inflict additional damage for a short time. We'll go all the way up on the assassin tree. And then, I do want to max out this rogue tree too. I'm not too worried about the bard tree yet. It's gonna take a lot of our stamina to be sustaining Song of Courage. I will get there eventually, but not yet. Here we are back at the Dalish Camp. I know we can talk to the apprentice and get the wood from him, and I know we can talk to Atheras. Let him know Danyla's fate.
You have returned. Is there any chance you have news of Danyla?
I do.
You have news? Have you found her? Are you certain?
She gave me her scarf. See for yourself.
That is her scarf. Where did you find her? What's become of her?
She died from the curse. Zathrian told you the truth. You know... Do we spare his mind and tell him she died from the curse before she turned? Or do we tell him the truth? I tend to think the truth is the best option, no matter how harsh it is. I don't like to sugarcoat things. That what happened, happened. It's not my place to distort that. She was a werewolf, just as you suspected.
So I was right. But what became of her?
She died, Atheras, but not before she sent her love.
She told you that? Yes. That is what she would do. At least she is at peace. Here is the amulet, as I promised. Now I should go and make arrangements. I must mourn my wife as is proper. Dareth Shiral. Fare you well.
Dareth Shiral. A Morrigan that actually disapproved of the truth. She suspects we should have just lied to him to spare his heart. You see how she's softening up a little over time. What's going on, Barathorn?
It is good to see you again. Have you need of something?
Actually, you have need for something. I found some iron bark for you.
Truly? Let me see. Yes, that is indeed iron bark, and a substantial quantity of it as well.
Indeed.
Well done. An agreement is an agreement, and I will craft something from this wood for you. What would you like? A bow, or perhaps a breastplate?
Let's see. I would like a longbow. An ironbark longbow of Dalish make would make a hell of a weapon, I'm sure.
Manuvinin, I will craft it myself. Watch if you prefer. It will not take long. And I've reformed the wood to my will. A Dalish longbow for you. May it serve you well.
Thank you very, very much. Alright, and I believe, in terms of the Dalish elves here, we have everything we need to do. I think all we need to do now is head back into the forest and take care of Witherfang, go confront him in the temple and see what's happening. Now we can pass through the fog. So, that is going to be a wrap for this episode, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, leave a like and a comment. If you want to support the cause and help improve the channel, there is a tip link in the description below. Otherwise, stay tuned and I'll see you guys soon with more Dragon Age Origins. Take care, guys. Have a good day.